here we have Vanshika Srivastava. Hey Vanshika, how are you doing?
Hi, Shiva. Thank you so much for inviting me. Super excited to be here and doing great.
Yeah. So Vanshika, give us a little intro about yourself.
Okay, so hi everyone, good evening. Happy first day of the November. I'm Vanshika Srivastava. I'm a Web3 influencer slash creator slash developer. I contribute to multiple projects. I'm also an open source enthusiast, which is where I began my journey and then eventually started contributing to Web3 space as well. And you can also call me a tech evangelist as well because I work on multiple technologies. So yeah, that's pretty deep about myself.
Yeah. You have been into cloud, you have been into open source, you have been into blockchain, DevOps, and you are a public speaker, community manager, and more. How are you
Yeah,
balancing all these things?
yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get the question or I want to repeat the question?
Repeat the question.
Yeah. You have been into cloud, you have been to open source, you have been to blockchain and DevOps, and you are a public speaker, community manager, and more. How are you
Yeah.
balancing all these things?
Well, balancing comes along with the time management, right? Or maybe I could say balancing is just the second word to time management. I have not spoken much about my academic life. I'm also a student and I'm doing my bachelor's right now. So it's just not me balancing my professional life, I'm also balancing my student life. And I feel like a lot of students are getting involved in this space. So I think it's important to mention this thing out that if you feel that you are a student and probably you should not jump in this kind of a field because you might have some constraints. I would suggest you to please jump. Why? Because you can make your mistakes early and you can learn from them, much earlier than you would do when you are graduated. Because when you are young, you're allowed to do a lot of things, you can explore much, but your capacity really goes down when you are graduated because you need to find something solid enough to, back yourself up. So I would say I was lucky batch, definitely, because I was in the COVID time I began my bachelor's journey. And those years or those months at a time that I had, I explored a lot of things and I came down onto certain things which really, I love doing. As much as I love developer and being a programmer, I realized I couldn't do that job every day. So that is where devrel kind of stepped in because the kind of personality I am and then the way I love doing things, which is like, involving community and helping out people, that came very naturally to me. So it's been a great journey. Definitely, it's hard some days. You have to, you have to leave certain things behind in order to get few things done. So learning how you would prioritize and then going about doing certain things is my mantra. So yeah, I mean, I don't know I if this is going to really help you out, but what two things I could probably point out from this is that explore as much as you can and try to balance out your time, like manage your time, prioritize things, use your Saturdays and Sundays wisely. There are days I take off also, but the way I take it is like, I also do my other stuff. So please do that if you are doing multitasking at the same time.
Exactly. When you combine things you are supposed to combine, people really get interested. Because at some level, humans are broad. We are multivariated, but we are
Yeah,
summarized in a petty ways in our life. But at
yeah,
some deep level, we know that is not true.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm a person with non-tech background. It's not a easy transition. So tell me
yeah.
your journey from non-tech to tech.
Cool. Okay, so I'm from a commerce background, just so that people know. And I have not pursued mathematics along with that. Uh, so when I was supposed to choose a subject in my class two, I was doing, back-end technology back when I was like in eighth, sixth, seventh grade, probably, I think. And by eighth grade, I realized that, I love computers, I love technology, but I don't want to pursue it like a subject because once you start pursuing something like a subject becomes part of your curricular, you just lose interest because, you want to take things on your own pace. Sometimes the way you are learning, if it is not in your hands, you will feel that you are like being pushed to do it, and I just felt that I did not want to do that with myself. So I went on with learning, of course, and then chose commerce. It was definitely a very difficult thing to prove to people. I got a lot of feedbacks that, this is not going to work out because, like, why would you do technology first and then go to commerce? But it's just that, how you see things. For me, management was the most important thing rather than just a commerce. I looked at management as a broader thing. And that kind of helped me to become a better human being altogether, right? Tech management is a very, very great field. In India, there is nothing around tech management really. But when you are a devrel or you're a community manager, you focus on the management part, you focus on the tech part, you focus on the product part. So that one decision kind of helped me to get a slight understanding of management while I was doing devrel practice. Um, I can't say how much hard it has been, but it has been challenging. Something that has really helped me out is finding right mentors. If you are from a background which is not very evident to tech space, right? You need to find mentors. And trust me, you can't expect mentors to give you a roadmap in your hand. Like, even for me, I never had someone who would, pick my finger and tell me you need to do this, you need to do this, right? So many people told me that you need to start doing DSA, do CP, uh, you know, try out for multiple companies like that. And I'll be very honest, I definitely got rejected from them. Why? Because I never understood what is working out for me. I'm happy that I got rejected that time because that rejection gave me this boost that I need to tell myself what I want to do. And I kept on exploring, I kept on doing a lot of community work. And slowly, people started recognizing my community work in public. So one thing I always tell people to do is like learn and build in public. I am the biggest preacher, like one of the biggest preacher for that thing. Why? Because it has changed my life. Um, it helped me to build my own brand. It helped me to, find right mentors. I have earned friends from internet that are now I've started meeting in person, and that's amazing. Me and even Siva, we met through one of the, meetups. And the way I get to have these kind of opportunities because I am visible enough on the internet, right? Like people are there on internet more than they are on the person. And you need to make sure that how do you utilize this opportunity. There are a lot of things happening around Twitter right now, but you need to really pen down on things and prioritize that, okay, you don't have to absorb everything that is happening out there. People are talking about 7 LPA and 7 lakh, per month and all those sort of things. You don't really have to focus on those things. You don't have to become part of trends. What you need to do is you push out your real self. There were days where I just felt like I should never put out that I'm a commerce student, and eventually that became my strength now. I go and tell people that, yes, I am from a commerce background. And that, kind of pushes other people from different backgrounds to contribute to the space as well. So if you are someone who's trying to transition in tech, the best way to do is get into a great, good technical community, pick up a beginner friendly open source project. Why? Because beginner friendly open source projects, they don't see your background, they just see your interest. And if you have enough knowledge about how Git and GitHub works, and do you know about like 1 to 2 specific languages in backend or maybe front end, you can start contributing from a beginner level. You can start contributing to documentation if you're not confident enough from the code base point of view. So that is even how I began, and eventually, I last year I was mentoring people in Hacktoberfest initiative. So that really, really started pushing me to become more visible to people, to help out more people to get in open source, and eventually even, educating people in Web3 space. So, so far, this is how my journey looks like. I'm collaborating with multiple projects, multiple Web3 companies, getting their word out, getting their agendas out as well, and helping other people to, as much as I can help them out, I try to look for those kind of opportunities for them as well.
Yeah, yeah. In modern society, we get too much of information too quickly. Also, our attention spans are very low. You get Twitter, you get Instagram, you get Facebook. You just use it to bombard it with the information. So, how are
Yeah.
you handling all this?
Okay. If you talk about the platforms, there's one thing, right? Every platform has got different set of users, and the content that you really publish out. can be recycled, but it will be in a very different format. For example, Facebook is like more of a photo video content, but you know that developers don't exist here. So I never went for Facebook at the first place. That was very out of my list. Instagram is again, it became like a whole half TikTok was there. Again, it felt like there is of course a lot of good dev technical content out there, but I think it's gonna take time to find the people who are actually into the contribution space. I mean, I didn't feel that I did not have a very great catch for Insta yet. Maybe later onwards, I might start creating video content more often. Also, 30 seconds don't do a great job for me, so I stick more to YouTube if I want to do. And otherwise, Twitter does a very great job because people there, they're able to showcase themselves. Like, Twitter is a place where you people used to write their heart and their opinions, and eventually it became a place where people from dev space, they started talking about the stack overflow issues they might be facing, and a couple of people responding to it. So I found my best place for all these sort of things on Twitter only. It can depend from person to person. If someone likes creating a lot of video content and doesn't like writing at all, they would go for, of course, video. So right now it's easy for me because I have got like 2 to 3 major platforms to focus on, and then when it comes to writing blogs, you have got Medium, you have got Dev.to, and you have also got Hashnode. So you can always, post across the three spaces. It doesn't really matter if you use the same set of content or on the other three platforms. So yeah, I mean, I republish the content. I also use the same set of content in order to create my threads. If I want to, and if there's a broader set of things that I need to share, I probably, and it's more of like, something that is very practical. I try keeping things on the side of, doing Twitter spaces or having more one-on-one conversation.
Okay, let's move our discussion a little bit into the Web3 side. What's your take on Web3?
My take on Web3, I don't think there is a take about it. I mean, it's like this. It's like a layer. People think that okay, they can avoid Web3 or they can avoid Web2, but to be very honest, it's not like that. See, a lot of Web2 companies are trying to involve Web3 set of things, right? Let's talk about Instagram. Instagram have got digital collectibles. Of course, not everyone is going to use, but it's going to be very great for creator purpose. And that's where creator economy is booming, right? Now, if you are a great contributor to open source, there is something called POAPS, which I recently received from Ethereum Foundation for contributing to their project. So if you are in open source ecosystem and you feel that you don't really need to have, incentivization, then you're probably wrong because see, Web3 does this thing to you. It allows the members also to receive something in return of what they are doing for the community, right? My take on Web3 is nothing but that it's a great additional value to us as developers, us as contributors, and even the entire technology. When we say decentralization, we half of it is true, half of it is like still yet to happen. So that is something we all need to understand. We cannot form opinions based on one specific thing that okay, Elon Musk took over the Twitter, he fired, couple of people and all. That's like a very different thing altogether. Web3 as in the technology space and what it is trying to do is it solves the three basic things, which is also called blockchain trilemma, right? All the Web3 applications revolve around security, scalability, and decentralization. And these three are the core components for blockchain trilemma. That's why you call it trilemma and not dilemma. So, like Solana, let's say Solana, let's say Polygon, these are more around decentralization and they're building their chains and everything, right? And then there are dApps, which are focusing on, some are focusing on NFT, some are focusing on cryptos, fintech, right? So there are multiple use cases based out of the exact Web3 protocol, or I would say the entire base of blockchain. And I don't have like a take. I would say it's just amazing thing that's happening right now. And as much as the adoption is like completely booming, what you need to understand is that not everything will work out for you. So if you are a person who is into protocol ecosystem, it isn't likely that you will also get in cryptos and you will become like the how should I say, like a king for cryptos, right? You'll not be able to do it. Like you need to really go inside the uh, entire ecosystem, understand what's happening because there's so many use cases. And then probably start picking one by one that, okay, you like decentralized application, you want to develop one, you can try checking out how Solidity works out, how blockchain works out, right? And eventually, if you are an artist, you can then figure out what are the NFT marketplaces and how you can explore that side of things. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. As Naval said, that's the beauty of the Web3. For the first time, data is actually open. The data is
Yeah.
literally living on the blockchain, but it's
Yeah.
actually secured far better than a Web2 corporation can secure our data. Also, developers love this because the code is now open to everyone instead of being closed. Yeah. What
Yeah.
is one myth about Web3 that you want to debunk?
What is?
One myth about Web3 that you want to debunk.
Okay, one myth about Web3, that everything revolves around crypto.
Yeah.
People have this thing that everything is going to be crypto native, right? Which is partially that can be true if an application wants to go in that direction. But it doesn't mean that, every decentralized application is about crypto itself. There is a lot of use cases. Uh, you can still have your fiat money and you can use that. I mean, it's not that your INR is gonna go away. It's just that the companies who are focused on crypto and crypto natives, right? They will let you do transactions in crypto. Uh, One difficult part for India is that we have got taxation, so we are not able to absorb the crypto economy right now. I don't know how how it's going to impact like all of us in the future run. But with the beer market, everything, right? People thinking that okay, India might have like an issues with that, and around cryptos, there's a lot of things going on. But I personally feel that this entire run is going to be completely amazing for India. um, the more we educate ourselves, the better amount of, we can say usage, the better amount of use cases are going to come out. And please don't forget that, there are amazing leaders out there in Web3 space from India itself who have done amazing job, right? Whether it's Polygon, you can look at that, or other companies, the CEOs, uh, or the CTOs, like they are from India, of course, and they are trying to. They are not able to incorporate here. Why? Because of the taxation laws and other lot of things, right? But then if you see, they are trying to boom it from here, so it is completely dependent upon how you adopt it, and it's completely singular. Like when we say mass adoption, we call that okay, thousands of people are using this particular application, and that's amazing. But what they don't do is that they don't educate themselves. They just install the application, or they are just trying to use the application. So many people have got MetaMask, but people still do not know that MetaMask has so much more value than what it can really do. No, people don't go through the testnet application, they don't go to the main this mainnet applications and all those things. So I think the more you'll explore, the more you'll understand that a lot of myths. There are a lot of myths, right? There is one problem that exists that I can also add upon, right? It's not a myth, it's a problem, I would say right now, which is the decentralized data. Of course, everything is open source, which is amazing, but the chains that the blockchains are still centralized, right? Like, if you're building on top of Solana, Solana is still the blockchain, the validators, and the people that are behind that, it's one singular identity. So we are yet to receive to that point where everything does become decentralized. We also say DAOs, that's decentralized autonomous organization. A lot of DAOs that are revolving right now are yet to set their tokenomics. So everything has their pros and cons. So based, like try to make sure that you are aware, whatever is happening in terms of the project that you are contributing, you are pretty much aware about it. Otherwise you might also fall in some kind of issues in the sense, like nothing big of things, but yeah, I mean, like there are a lot of NFT drops happening, a lot of sort of these things happening. So you need to be very assured about knowing that what is coming from an original source and what is not.
Great. Yeah. A lot of people when they first see
Hello, Siva, are you there?
Hey,
Hi,
sorry, there is an internet problem. Okay, well, uh,
not a question.
great. Uh, a lot of people, when they see your first NFTs, their reaction is, well, I can just right click on the JPEG and I can say the JPEG. Why does this thing have a value and why will people buy this? And so what's your views on NFT?
I lost you for the last sentence. Can you repeat again?
Yeah, like what's your views on NFT?
Views on NFTs. I think, again, NFT in itself is like, it stands for non-fungible token. Now, this non-fungible token can be used in multiple ways. There, every time there is like a testnet launch and people are building or deploying smart contracts on top of it, people receive these NFTs, right there in their wallet. Uh, you can also, so there is this thing that happened between Lens Protocol folks and Social 3 Club. Shout out to those people. The people who were the early adopters for Social 3, they could use their NFTs in order to get Lens handle. So it's like, for based on one community NFT, you can also, if they're partnering up together, right now, you can also have the opportunity to avail something that the other community is offering you. So that's like a very, very cool thing that's happening right now in this moment. Because earlier, what would happen is that, in Web2 space, you don't really have a lot of things. Like if you have a giveaway, you participate in it, but it's not very likely that you will also be eligible for something else, right? So I think my views on NFT is like it's great for creator economy. It's great for the contributor economy as well, because now you can expect something for yourself too. And all these early adopters NFTs are like, they are trying to convert to a value. So, most of the NFTs which are like in JPG formats, some people might feel that, okay, what do I have like a real added value to it? And now people are trying to build an actual value case around it. So now you can use it for, availing some kind of handles, some kind of, extra points, maybe, or maybe showcasing that you are one of the early adopters, right? Like some people who signed up for like Alchemy University and they were the early adopters, they received an NFT, and that is going to help them to get their Web3 degree, sort of a Web3 degree, right? So now you have a degree in format of NFT, let's say. So you are able to showcase world that now the proof of knowledge that you have is now transforming to an NFT format, and that holds the proof of knowledge in the NFT format. So there is nothing specific about the views. I just shared like couple of use cases that is out there, and you will be able to see a lot of them coming in the future as well. It's amazing to see the adoption that is happening and people trying to put so much value to it and creating an entity out of it. So yeah.
You must definitely went through a lot of ups and downs. So tell me, what is your biggest failure and what do you learn from it?
My biggest failure.
And what do you learn from that?
Okay. My biggest failure, I was very active in the sports area. This is something very non-academic. Academically, I don't really have like a lot of failure. I think everything that I did just led me to this path that I am on right now. But one thing that I definitely regret doing is that I did not spend a lot of time on myself, right? I was doing this sports called karate. This was one of the martial arts, form I was doing. And I left it in the middle because I felt that I had to choose, prioritize. That's what I mentioned, right? I had to prioritize. So I kept my physical health aside, just thinking that, okay, if I really work upon something like this, I can pick up on things later. But that time did not come ever. I have been busier than, each day, every day. I realize that I'm just getting busier and busier. Of course, one of my goal for 2023 is to get in gym and, get back to my form, start doing my martial arts again. But like, the bottom line is that you don't have to leave something that you're doing for yourself in order to get successful in your life, or like to progress in your life. I'll not say the word successful is wrong, because everyone has a different definition of being successful. For me, I think I'm yet to get there, or I'm yet to be, but I'm happy with the progress I've made. I never compare two people, because I know we both are on different timelines. So a lot of people also feel imposter syndrome, which means that they start comparing themselves with other people out there, and they feel that they're not doing great. And please never do that to yourself. It's bad for your mental health, right? You need to understand that everyone is on different timeline, and everyone's story is supposed to be different. If you become like them, your story might not turn out to be the way it has turned out for them, because you just copied them, right? That's why I say that there is no certain roadmap. When you keep exploring, you get always your personal experiences, help you to form something for your professional life too. So that one thing I always regret. I even now I feel that it didn't require me to leave something that was so personal to me, and it was for my physical health. I could have still continued doing it, but I did, and I regret. And hopefully, maybe next year I'll get an opportunity. Hopefully.
What books are you reading right now?
Ooh, okay. What books I'm reading? My reading. I read a lot of things on internet now, but books I'm not able to give a lot of time. But there are three that right now I'm like going through. There is Do Epic Shit by Ankur Warikoo. There is this book called Alchemist. I read it like more than half back in 2 years, but then I couldn't continue it, so I'm continuing that book. And then the third book that is right now I'm reading is Psychology of Money. It's the best book if you want to get your finances right, or even want to understand the money aspect of things. I'm a commerce student, so I understand the value of money like more than anything. Like I know my ways to get my money saved, but yet I feel that when it comes to earning money on your own, you need some kind of guidance. So yeah, learning like going through Psychology of Money, as it's a very great starter book for everyone. Even who is not from the commerce background can go through it. It's for literally everyone. So yeah, those three are on the list.
Tell me three names who have been most influential to you.
Tell me,
Three names who have been most influential to you.
who have been most influential to me? Okay. Um. So first of all, my parents, not because they are my role models, but because I saw them doing certain, the jobs that they have done. They are in good job, right? But I realized that their backgrounds were so different, and yet today what they are doing is something very different from their passion. So what I learned from them is that when in longer run, maybe when you are starting off, you can probably let your uh, passion die, and you can probably do some other job because you have to sustain. That time there were people that they had to go ahead jobs like being a doctor, being a engineer, something like that. But now the time has come for you that you can pick on your passion and you can bring something out of it. So everyone really scared me, like, don't go ahead and do something like commerce. Your future is quite blurred, and a lot of other things that happen. But they really influenced me. I really wondered that if they belonging from a different background like science or something can do something in finance, why can't I pursue something which is of my passion and get in that line, right? So their lives made a good impact on me. Whatever they did taught me what I don't have to do in my life. So that they are number one. I think second would be couple of people that are there out there on Twitter. There is Francisco, there is Vito, there is Aditya Oberoi, Kunal Kushwaha. It's very hard to recall names, but Farrell, a lot of amazing community members who always push me. They always tell me that you help me out with this thing, and that just makes my entire day. Few of these names, and third one is gonna be my best friend. His name is Abhishek. He really has pushed me to do a lot of things in my life. So shout out to him as well.
Yeah. Also, like Vito and Francisco, we're also having a special sessions with them next week. Hope
Yeah.
that's going to go. Yeah. Like, where can we find you online?
Oh, you can find me online on LinkedIn and Twitter. My Twitter handle is already mentioned. That's the first thing I always use when there's something around Web3 happening. So connect with me on my Twitter on this is Vanshika, and on LinkedIn you can search Vanshika Srivastava. You can write tech evangelist, and you'll be able to get my profile. I don't think I'm creating a lot on other platforms as much, but if you want, you can still go explore my dev.to my GitHub profile if you want to. But yeah, these are the two major profiles you can follow up.
Could you just elaborate a little bit on your crypto portfolio?
Oh my God, that's a question that you're not supposed to answer it publicly, but okay. So I'll be very honest with you folks. This was the year I decided to invest money in cryptos, but you do know that in April, India, it has put this taxation law. So what I decided to do is like I'm not investing religiously right now because of all the taxations and all. But what I do is I do put some certain dollars. And I have invested in projects and not a lot of coins. I might have like some bit of like on BNB coin and maybe one Polka. Uh, no Dogecoin, please don't judge me for that. I didn't felt like doing it, so I did not do it. But yeah, I've put some amount of money in projects, crypto projects, because the growth of projects is likely it kind of is it's of my interest. I love seeing projects growing up into a whole product, so I've invested in them. I think that should be enough for my portfolio. But I'm yet to start my crypto investment, like proper crypto investment journey. Maybe once I move out of India, if that happens.
I hope I covered everything. But if you are in my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't?
Repeat once again.
Mm. Um, if you are in my shoes, what questions you have asked yourself that I didn't?
Okay, what I think you covered pretty much everything. I don't have anything. Maybe I could have asked you I would have asked myself if I would have been in your shoes that do what is my favorite food to eat? And my answer would have been that I love eating chicken. I could eat it every day. And even though it might not seem like when you meet me in person that she might not be like a huge foodie and all, I'm a very huge foodie. I love food like anything. And I probably eat more than my friends around me. But it's like great metabolism. That's what karate does to you. So
We done a fair bit of research about you from our end. What you are doing was an amazing job. Please carry on
thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Also,
you.
thank you very much for doing this. It's a pleasure having you. We got a lot of answers. Thank you.
Thank you so again. Thank you sir for hosting me. It was great evening. And I hope you folks, best of luck for the hackathon. Super excited to see what you guys build. And all the best for your Web3 journey as well. If you have got something to ask from me personally, please don't get in the DMs. Please ask it publicly. I like answering questions on Twitter. Why? Because it allows people to see your comments also, and it just keeps conversations open. So maybe your question might help other people also. So yeah, that's one thing.